Okay, so now it should allow me to make sure it's connecting to Instagram as well, because I know we've got some folks who prefer Instagram over being on LinkedIn, and I want to make sure they see it. Okay, so please give me that
Yes. Okay.
intro again on Brown Ribbon
Oh,
Exchange. I know you talked about, I know, you don't have to, I know, I feel like we give the elevator pitch so
no, I'll do
much.
it again. I'll do it again. I'll do it again.
And people are like, tell me about your business. I'm like, again? Okay, but please, yes, I want to make sure we catch it on this one as well. Can you please give us a background on Brown Ribbon Exchange and yourself?
Yes. Sure. So I am an accountant by trade. And so I also have worked with women entrepreneurs. My friends have always come to me for business advice. I don't even know how this started. They just always did. I guess I'm like a natural encourager of just like go after your dreams, try this out. It doesn't matter if you fail, just try it anyway. And so I encountered a lot of friends who had business ideas but didn't have the resources to execute it, because like even if you have a product that you develop and you spend money on that, you still got to spend money to market it, and you still got to spend money for all of the other resources and things that it requires to run that business.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to like connect them to people in my network, like who can help such and such with marketing, who can help them with this. And that's where the idea to barter came from, because like I always say, if you're low on funds, the one thing you're not low on is your skill set. So like I know I can offer someone like my accounting services in exchange for something else, which is bartering. And so
Yeah.
that's where the idea behind the platform came. And the platform itself utilizes tokens as a form of exchange or currency, to solve for sometimes you may not need exactly what I'm offering. So, like as an
Right.
accountant, I may not need your skincare products just yet, but you need my accounting services. And
Right.
so, because I helped you, I can earn tokens that I then can use on the platform to get access to other services I need. So, like, say I list a month of bookkeeping for 250 tokens that you purchase from me on the platform, then the
Mhm.
250 tokens that I earn, I can get legal services from somebody else or graphic design. So it creates a
Wow.
circular economy, and we're all bartering using tokens, or brown ribbons is what we call
Right.
it.
Brown ribbons. I love that. So how long
Yes.
have you been working on Brown Ribbon Exchange?
Um, I started the idea maybe in like 2022, early 2022.
Mhm.
I
Wow.
don't think it was before that. I think it was 2022. Really in the making my whole life, because I've been trying to figure out like how can I
Wow.
leverage tech to either do like business consulting on a large scale. But yeah, for 2 years now on this
Wow.
journey. Mhm.
What's been the highest high and the lowest low, if you don't mind sharing?
Oh, you know my lowest low. I'm like, do I want to share it yet?
No, you don't have to. I'm just
Okay,
so
okay.
far, so far, or maybe let's say the highest high and the biggest surprise so far.
Sure, sure. I'll do both. So like the highest high was so one of the big things I kept running into when I was trying to get funding was that people are like, you need a platform. You need your MVP built, which is like the minimum viable product of this platform that we can use to prove the concept. And
Yeah.
that requires money to build this platform.
Yes.
Software engineers, and I was
Right.
getting quotes all different dollar amounts. So I'm like, okay, I need to either bootstrap this, which is come up with my own money, or raise the capital.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, so there's a no code platform called Bubble that
Cool.
is actually like a no code like web designer, like a Wix or a Squarespace, but it builds apps or web desktop
Mm,
apps. And so I was accepted into their Immerse program, and they actually taught me how to build the app myself.
oh
So
wow.
for the past 2 months, I've been building the app myself, and that has like saved me so much money because I can now
Oh,
launch an app that I built myself, and I have the capabilities to not have to pay anybody just yet.
yeah.
Um, but it'll get the first version of the platform out there. So that
Yeah.
has been a really high. Just like which they people the lowest lows, but also just surprises that people always tell you about the no's, but like there are a lot of no's in this
A lot
business.
of
It's just like
yes. Yes, it's like when you hear those stories of, I don't know, let's just call him Steve, and Steve pitched 100 people and 100 people told him no. I feel like, oh, Steve, that's nothing. Like, what?
yes,
Whatever. Like, keep going,
yes,
Steve. We got it.
yes, yeah, and so like you have to
Keep
really
going.
learn like it's a part of the game, and that a no
Yeah.
sometimes means not yet. It doesn't mean like a no, because you are the only person that can tell yourself no anyway, like
Yeah.
at the end of the day. But like you also have to build up a thick skin, like you have to be strong in your resolve to know that, like, okay, they told me no, I'm telling myself yes, I'm gonna try it another way, like I'm gonna
Yeah.
do another door, I'm gonna, as Black women, we're resourceful, like I'm gonna make it happen.
Figure it out.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll
And
figure it out.
we have to figure it out. And I think that's also part of, like you said, it's kind of like part of the game, that figuring it out. It never really goes away. There's always
Yeah.
going to be something that is like the missing puzzle piece,
Yes.
or the timing might not fit the goal, or the funding might not fit. It's like it's always these little puzzle pieces, and I think that's part of what I like about, not the well, I guess, yeah, I guess that's some part of what I like about the startup journey, is that it's just going to have puzzle pieces, and it gives me things to figure out. But it's also nice when you have those moments of like aha, those moments of
Hmm.
success, those moments of highs. um that's like that validation along the way that comes from your own work, and not from, and it might not even come from like winning something. It just might be like,
Right.
oh, today we had a great day. That was validation that the planning that I put in is working. That's it,
Exactly.
you know?
Yes. And
So
like
it's just
sometimes no's are just what was I gonna say? Like they're learning lessons, because they may tell you the reason they said no, which is a lesson for you of something you need to work on. And that's like,
yeah,
oh, that's even helpful too.
right.
So yeah.
What has been one of those aha moments from a no, or from a something I need to work on, that you've gotten like feedback on?
Yeah, so like some of the early no's were just like like we believe in your concept, but like you have to prove that your market wants it. So just
Mm,
constructive feedback from that, like test the concept, see what people like about bartering, like actually survey people, prove market interest. So that was the thing for me,
mhm.
is that like I need to do more of my market research, which you hear that stuff and you're just like, oh, but I know my market. But it's like, but did you
Yeah.
talk to them?
Yeah,
Like, did
did
you
you
ask
talk?
them?
That's true though. That's true. Like, you know who you want to target, and you think and believe that is your target. And I've
Yes.
seen a lot of, like, even through the accelerator incubators that we've been through, where you'll have a founder who starts out with one concept or one idea or one focus point for their target audience, and realize like the whole time they were talking to, I don't know, Gen Z, they should have been talking to
Hmm.
millennials. Or
Yeah.
the whole time they were talking to, I don't know, the a male family member, they should have been talking to the mom, because the mom is the one who's really handling the decision making when it comes to what groceries we buy. So like,
Exactly.
that data is super important, and I get that's really good feedback for all companies, I think,
Hmm.
startup, whatever stage, is to keep that data loop going,
Yeah,
you know.
like ask questions and like
Yeah,
because people ultimately tell you what your business is going to look like. Because you may have one thing in mind, like I want to give you this, but people should tell you what they need, because you're trying to
it's
offer
true.
value to them. So they have to tell you what it is, and then you can fit what it is that you're building around that. But it's based on
Yeah,
what they want. So yeah.
and like being of service, I like that. That's so true. I learn a lot, I swear, like, oh Lord. It
It's
never ends.
never ending.
It never ends. But your background in accounting, I'm sure, has helped you avoid a lot of those startup mistakes that startups do make. I mean, especially first time founders, I've definitely had my moments of like, damn, why did I do it that way? I should have waited and leveraged that, and I could have stretched that out even further, or just learning what resources are out there. Like when we started,
Hmm.
I didn't have business credit. I had none of that stuff. So it wasn't until like the second year, I think, in business, that I was like, okay, I think now is the time I can start leveraging business credit and figuring out how
Yeah.
to do that. But even that is like opens up a whole nother layer of cash management, flow, and all these things. So how has your background kind of spared you, or are there lessons you still feel like you've learned?
So both, but also like I feel like I had a cheat sheet because I work for a startup that raised
Gotcha.
money, that's raised millions of dollars, and
Wow,
I'm
that's
the
great.
accountant. So I see where all the money goes. Like
That's great.
I've made it through like, they've had like reorgs and strategy changes, and I've seen it
Mm.
all. So I kind of have a cheat sheet into like what works. Like if you grow too, like don't try to grow so fast that then you have to like let people go because
Yeah.
you're trying to like pace yourself, make sure you have a strategy in place. And like the biggest thing that I learned, like the biggest cheat sheet is that like no matter how big a company is, no matter how um smart you think a founder is that like everybody's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like there are no experts in this business. If you have a
Yeah.
business, everybody is trying to figure out what makes it work and you have to constantly
Mhm.
pivot. There's never like even the Apples and the big Googles and the Amazons, like they're trying to figure out how to sustain this market.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to always innovate and change. So it's like that's one
Yeah.
thing you have to know. And like I did have a cheat sheet because I have an MBA and my accounting degree, so
Mhm.
I have the knowledge of basic knowledge of marketing that some people don't have. Now execution is a whole other thing,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but I think sometimes like that has helped me to even know what I need, even though like it
Mhm.
helps me to know where I need what I need, even when I can't obtain it at the moment. Like some people don't even know
Yeah.
what they don't need,
Yeah.
so I'll say
And
that.
that's a big thing because I learned that along the way too. Like year one, I would say like the first 6 months, I didn't think I needed much. I was like, okay, it's kind of doing its own thing. I just
Yeah.
let it run. I took, I did founder gym class and I did like a cohort and I did Black Girl Ventures, like a pitch competition, which was my first thing ever, pitching ever, like learning what a deck was and making one. Like and just like completely green, totally green.
Yeah.
And even from there, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Do. And then the world changed, marketing changed. And I was like, oh man, like now I have to figure out how, like you said, what are the levers that make this work? Because
Hmm.
it was working. I didn't have to do much. Now I've got to put new things in place. So
Yep.
you pour some new stuff in there, and then you're like, okay, that didn't work. Now I got to test this. Okay, now I got to test that. But I need somebody who knows how to do that to test that. And then you go through those people and you realize, like, I know more than you know. Why am I paying you? And then you're like, but I still don't know enough to make it work. Like,
Yeah.
I need someone to make this work.
Yes.
So you go through that process and you again, like you said, you start learning the things that you actually will need and you learn talk to more people who've done it already, who've gone through it, and they'll sit there and tell you like, well, did you think about shipping costs, not
Yes.
just your shipping cost to the customer, but getting it from the manufacturer to your house because now you're ordering more stuff. So you need to put those numbers in. It's like,
Yes.
you're right. I do. And then it just adds on and adds on. But
It
I feel like
does.
you get to that spot where you're like, okay, you look at your business plan or your projections and you're like, okay, okay, we're getting there,
Yeah, like sometimes you have to fumble your way through it. Like
Yes.
and I always tell people like just because you're a small business, if you think about like the way corporations are ran, all of the departments like the legal, the finance, the marketing, the operations, like you still need those things in your business,
Yeah.
even though you're a small
You're
business. Like
small.
there
Yeah.
are like compliance issues and taxes and legal things that you may need to follow to be in compliance. Like
To be, yeah. And
you
they
need it
will come
all.
after you big or small. So you better have your paperwork
Yeah.
together. Like, and I think a lot of the opportunities require so much paperwork now too. Like you got to prove or give us some history of what you've been doing.
Yes.
So that paperwork, the accounting, all the bookkeeping, all of that is important. What's
It
been the
is.
biggest investment of your time you feel like growing Brown Ribbon Exchange? Has it been the marketing, the team, the back end stuff that people really don't see?
Yeah, all of it. The marketing time because that's not a natural skill set of mine, and like
Yeah.
unless you pay somebody, like you have to try to figure that out yourself.
Yeah.
So just like it's a time. I don't do this full time all the time, but it does feel like another
Mhm.
full time job because that's what it requires.
Yeah.
And so just everything like the research, like knowing like this is what I want to do, but these are all of the steps that I have to get there. And like sometimes you're like, oh, this is the big picture, but I have to do three things before I get there.
Yeah.
So it's like, when I first launched it, it was like, okay, I'm telling people this, but now I need a website. So I gotta build a website. I gotta
Still
have
figuring
somewhere
that
for
out.
them to go. Like I gotta have branding. I gotta have the logo. I can't go too fast because I don't have the product just yet. Like I gotta figure out
Yeah.
how to get the product out. So
Right.
um just time, like it's a never ending cycle of just learning and just trying to
Yeah.
prioritize what needs to happen now and staying
Mhm.
consistent, like having a plan of action and like it's time. It
It's
requires
a
time.
lot. Yeah. Where
So,
do you fit yourself into your time? Like where do you fit Diana time in?
So actually, like I took a break last year. Like when I was talking about the nose were hard, like I had to
Yeah.
take a break to just refocus, get clear about what it was I was doing and why I was doing it. And like
Mhm.
during that time, like make sure I had like my physical health straight, make sure I had like a plan for
Mhm.
my mental health. And so like at the end of the day, I feel like this is something that is a part of the purpose that I'm called to do, but
Yeah.
also like I'll never put it above like my family or just like
Yeah.
myself. And so it's always important to keep things in their proper perspective. And like I'm always like when you get a number, like you know what, I could just go make the money as an accountant. Like I could
I could
just,
just
I
stop.
could just
Why am I doing? I am doing this to myself.
yes, I'm doing this to myself. I could just keep my job, make grow up the corporate ladder. But I'm like, no, that's
You
not what I
have a
was.
bigger, yeah, there's a mission. And I know a lot of people have been talking about going back to work. I know I had an interview recently. Like I certainly don't mind balancing, but
Hmm.
it is like you said, there's a certain line where now I'm putting myself like way down here on
Yes.
priorities, and I have to make sure I don't overcommit myself so that way I don't lose myself, because
Yes.
myself is what created this. Myself is going to need the energy to sustain it and build it
Yes.
and pitch it and market, do all those things, because at the end of the day, it is another entity that you're taking care of, but
Hmm.
there's the entity of yourself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, like, I am fortunate, I'm blessed to be able to work from home. And as an accountant, my job is not
Mhm.
super stressful, which is why I'm like,
That's
I'm going to stay
great.
here until I don't have to stay here anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not working overtime. Like, I'm not doing all these extra things. Like I'll just like in the mornings I try to make sure that I wake up and like either pray and meditate or I'll go like walk my dog in the out
Yeah.
like nature helps me. So I'll go like walk outside during the day. Like I'll take a break to go throw the ball in my yard with my dog. Like and
Yeah.
I've been through therapy and just like making sure I stay connected with my body, like making sure I'm not um like hyper fixating on what I need to do because like you
Yeah.
know a lot of us deal with anxiety and so
Yeah.
I'm just like I've gone through therapy to deal with things like that, have tools and resources that'll help me so that I'm not like
That's good.
overworking myself and just burning
Yeah.
myself out. So yeah.
Right. No, that's healthy, because I know we get in the rhythm of like what we're trying to achieve,
Mm-hmm.
and then our body is like, hello, and we're like, we got work to do. And then your
Yes.
body's like, excuse me. And
Yeah.
you're like, I'll get right back to you. Like, I got one more email to check.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you can't get out of bed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's definitely important. And I love that you talked about that. I think what I also love about what you do with Brown Ribbon Exchange is that with bartering and this and the way that you have it set up, and you're working on the app, which is next level, so dope. I feel like that's another way that we as entrepreneurs could practice better self-care, is by being creative about how we ask for the help that we need. And
Mm-hmm.
like it doesn't have to just be an expensive financial exchange, because sometimes people feel like, well, what do I have to offer? Like I don't have like super business skills, that's why I'm looking for help. What are some of the things that people can offer? Because I think there's so much more to it than we might think of, outside of like super technical skills sometimes.
Yeah, so like besides just service skills, like I want to branch out into where like if you have like maybe you're a therapist, maybe you have like maybe you meal prep, maybe you know how to meal prep
Mhm.
really well. Maybe like there's a
Yeah.
component of in-person barter, so like maybe you do hair, but like if you have a hobby that you can offer, what is it that people would want from
Yeah.
you? Like all of us have a skill set. Like maybe you make like maybe your hobby is you make earrings and you'll offer it in the marketplace as like a good or
Yeah.
like you have something to
Yeah.
offer. So I'm always just like, you know, we are going to start with just services because I have to start somewhere, but I do
Right.
want to branch into like it builds a community, a marketplace, whether you have a good or a service. But it builds that community and that collaboration between all of us where we're just exchanging like the things that we need. So,
Yeah, I love that. And I think collaboration is practicing self-care. I think as entrepreneurs, again, we start off with this idea that we have. And I
hmm.
know I'll say for solopreneurs, really, because I know some solopreneurs that like you would they not that they're recluse on purpose, but they're working. Like they're
Yeah.
working on their vision, and it does, like you said, it's a time commitment thing, it takes dedication and consistency,
Mm-hmm.
and even with breaks, that's fine, but it takes like the I guess like the consistent intention to like know that even if I go and do whatever else I do, each day I'm planting some seeds, and
Right.
those seeds are going to be, successful. But I still have to be consistent in like planting some seeds, and we don't always collaborate as much as I think we could to take some of the weight off of us,
Yes.
or to open up our platforms, to open up our audiences, to share in, like you said, share in the resources, share in the contacts that we have. Like for entrepreneurs out there, don't just stay alone. Like there are plenty
Yes.
of us who are happy to share.
We
Like
are.
we're here.
Yes.
We're here. Have you
Yes.
seen I guess any amazing positive stories from the companies that have participated in the bartering?
Yeah, so we are not as far along as I would like us to be as far as like the actual barters, but I did have an
Yeah.
event here in New Orleans, the
Yeah.
speed networking event, just to see interest and see like what people would want from the bartering
Yeah.
exchange. And like the most popular thing that people need is marketing, advertising and
Yes.
marketing help. Like that's what everybody needs.
Yes.
And so like that's just what I've been trying to build is like get the marketers on the platform. I have a few who are interested in joining, so um, I think people are just excited because everybody is like, this is what we need. This is what I
Yeah.
need. Like I
It
will
fills
figure
a
out.
gap. Right.
Yes.
I've got a lot of people. Well, I'm some marketing folks that I certainly want to refer to you. We've been trying to find really good, I would say kind of sort of intern contract folks, but having some good conversations. But I can share a positive story with you that came out of that exact event.
Oh, good.
One of the ladies who came to our table for the at our Bees Bayou had a little table, but we were all networking and meeting each other and everything. And one of the ladies who was there happened to be in real estate and had an event coming up and needed a speaker. And next thing you know, small world. My fiance ended up being the speaker for her event, so we got to go and see her. It was like a nice community event on housing
Oh,
here in
good.
New Orleans and all of that. So that was kind of like a thing for them, like a nice little connection and exchange. Because all those dots, like I said, the dots connect.
They do.
The circle of connection is very, I forgot how they say it, the steps in between people. It's like six
Six
degrees of
degrees
separation or
separation.
something.
Mhm.
The degrees of separation. So I feel like those events I personally just love in general going to, but I think it's really helpful for, like you said, people need it and it fills a gap.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yes. I'm so
yeah.
glad.
So I'm excited if you do another one. Just saying, if you
I
do
know.
another
On the way. On the way.
one, I'll be there. What's some advice that you wish you were given?
Ooh. So like kind of going back to the thing about like self care is like take a rest but don't quit. Like
Yeah.
rest, don't quit. Um, what other things? It's just like pace yourself. It's like you are the only person that can tell yourself no at the end of the day. Like you just have to keep
Mhm.
going. Like it may not turn out the way that you originally intended it for it to turn out, but it's gonna turn out into something positive, and like the journey is gonna take you ultimately to where you need to be. So you just have
Yeah.
to keep on walking on your journey until it turns out. And like there's gonna be no's, it's gonna be hills and valleys. Like expect
Yeah.
that. Don't like
Okay.
be hopeful. Like don't get discouraged. Keep your hope, but like just keep going. Like
Yeah.
you hear it all the time, but it's so real when you're on the journey because you want to quit. You're like, but just keep.
So true. And I get it when people say when they're asked, once they've kind of gotten over that hump and they've had success over, year over year, and people are like, "How did you do it?" And they were like, "I just kept going." Like there's no secret. Like
There's
I
no.
literally just kept going. And I get what they mean when they say that, because you
Yeah.
are learning so much along the way, and you're putting the pieces together along the way, that there just ends up becoming a time where you're like, wow, look at all this stuff I've been piecing together,
Yes.
and it's just you just have kept going. So how can the community support Brown Ribbon Exchange, and like what's next? So what can we do to help your next step?
Sure. So if you have a service that you want to provide on the exchange, we're specifically targeting marketing, legal, financial services, and like operational services for now. But even if you have just another service, visit brownribbonexchange.com, join our waitlist, and let us know what services you want to offer, and then also what services you're looking for so that I can be recruiting those service providers to provide you value. I'm still building the platform, but the launch is going to be January of 2025. So I'm
Yay.
going to have a launch strategy for that, and just preparing to launch this thing so we can get this community growing. And I may do another collaborate event for the launch for that. So, yeah.
Yay. That's exciting. I'm so and the fact that you're building the app, brava.
Thank you.
That is amazing, and I love the platform already, but I know that even just from the event, the feedback from the event was so positive and so energetic. Like some of us
Yeah.
didn't want to leave. We're talking in the parking lot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like just had such a great time. And I feel like the world also needs just in general more spaces for human connection. Um,
Yes.
and especially for entrepreneurs, because again, it goes back to like, you're not alone. Do not feel like you're alone. Please reach out. There are services, and this platform specifically is so unique in what you
Yeah.
offer. So I think it goes back to again connecting our self-care to just collaborating with others and opening yourself up to receiving, because sometimes we don't want to receive the help that we want.
Yes.
So open yourself up to receiving, but Brown Ribbon Exchange is here for you.
Yes, definitely. And one more thing I did want to add that I
Yeah.
actually got from somebody who came to collaborate, the advice that I didn't have, but she gave it to me, and she was telling me about an opportunity, and I was like, I don't think we're ready, and she was like, it doesn't matter if you're ready, still try.
Yeah.
Like, don't count yourself out. But she said, don't tell yourself no before they tell you no,
I
and
have
that
got the
has
same advice because I
yes,
would do that all the time. Like,
yes. So
you're not
still,
worried about me. I'm
still
too early. I'm too
yeah,
this.
still
This
try
isn't set
it.
up yet. Yeah.
Still try it. You may have to try
Let
it
them
twice,
tell
but
you
they'll give
no.
you feedback. At least you tried it. And so, like, a lot of times we think, I don't, my business is not as good. Like, they may look at you and be like, Aria wins all the grants and her business is further along me. I can't talk to
Exactly.
her. But, like, the thing about it is that, like, most founders, we're really, like, down to earth and we can relate. Like, talk to us the
Yes.
same way you would talk to anybody. That was the
Yeah.
purpose of the event. Like, there was no elite person there. It was just like,
No.
it doesn't matter what level you are in your business, like we're coming to
Right.
collaborate and learn from each other.
Absolutely. And like you
So yeah.
said, people don't see what they don't see. So they don't
Yes.
see like the no's as many
Yeah.
we know about them.
Right. Right.
We have our support groups, okay, for each other.
Yes, we do.
But people don't realize like how many of the opportunities that come that you're just not going to get. But like you said, you let them tell you no. And
Yeah.
you do not tell yourself no. Put your name in the hat. And there are a lot of even some of the young entrepreneurs that I've met recently, like college level, just graduating or about to graduate, who starting their own thing, haven't even looked at grants. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, there's money out there to help you build what you're trying to build this on your college.
Yeah.
No, no, no. Like, go
Right.
and at least try. And there's some grants just for college students, just for young, like there's stuff out there. So like you said, I love that.
Yes.
Let them tell you no, you don't tell yourself no.
Yeah,
And
and that was Lauren from the Cosmetology Institute. So I'll
oh,
shout
shout
her
out
out.
Lauren. Yes,
Yes.
Cosmetology Institute of New Orleans. Shout out Lauren. That's awesome. Yes. Okay, so Brown Ribbon Exchange, everybody follow. And if you have services, specifically name them again, please, please.
So in the financial space, financial services, marketing or advertising, like or design,
Mhm.
operational consulting, or legal for
Gotcha.
now.
Or
But
legal.
really, if you have anything, reach out to us.
Yeah, because if it's not something for now, you might be able to barter or do some set it up for later.
Correct.
So get involved now.
Yes. Yep.
Perfect. Yay. Well, thank you so much,
Yay.
Diana. I
Thank
appreciate you for
you.
taking time and sharing your story. I'm gonna definitely share this. Like I said, I've got some folks I want them to at least know about it. I'm hoping that they reach out, but who are in marketing and some of the like I told you, some of these young entrepreneurs that I'm like, y'all need the
Yeah.
exchange too, because you're learning what you need. You don't even know yet what you really
Exactly.
need. So you need to
Exactly.
know what is being offered around you before you start trying to spend a whole lot or do a whole lot on your own. We can help you avoid some mistakes.
Yeah, and build your portfolio on Brown Ribbon Exchange too. Like you
Yeah,
can get some early reviews
exactly.
on your services too. So that's what it's there for as well.
That's perfect. That's another bonus. Another
Yep.
bonus. But anywho, thank you so much. Have a
Thank
great
you.
evening, and we'll connect later in our support group.
Yes, I know. Thank you. Thank you for your help. Like our support group is like we cry and we like complain and we share
Yes,
wins. Like, but you need
yes,
that. So yeah.
yes. We need it. Trust me, we need it. I've enjoyed this time like I enjoy every other time. Just getting to chat about what we're going through. Simple as
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Simple as
Thank you
that.
so much.
No problem. Talk to you later.
All right.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.